Hello, it's Danny Gamble. It is October 7th, Monday, 2019. Today I'm going to speak about the debate coming up in about 4 hours, I think, around 4 o'clock BC time, so probably 7 o'clock back east. And this is for the election, and it's going to have obviously the Pierre Trudeau, it's going to have Andrew Scheer, Elizabeth May will be there, Jagmeet Singh, I don't know if I said that name right, apologize if I didn't. And then actually I believe Max Bernier is also going to be there tonight. So I just thought I would do the little description and thoughts on all the different characters. I am traditionally a switch voter. I try to listen to what's being said by who. I do tend to follow the leader a lot on all the parties, making my decision more than, say, a local person that I don't know that well. I move around a lot, so quite often I don't know the people that well. Also, I do believe a lot of the policies flow from the top in all federal elections. So who's ever in charge does seem to have a lot of control, and guides his party or her party. All right, so let's just go. I guess we should start. Let's start backwards, maybe. Max Bernier. And the reason I say backwards, less profile. Max has just formed his party, and I don't necessarily agree with a lot of what I've heard from him. I will listen tonight to see what he has to say. I think he kind of seemed like a disgruntled guy when he didn't win. The conservative leadership, he lost to Scheer. He was, I'll go off and make my own party. It's like, I'm going to take my soccer ball and go play on a different field. So, that said, well, I will listen, but definitely not, obviously he's not in a position to go very far this time anyways, but maybe not even potentially to even be around next time. I guess a lot will depend on how he impresses people. If he can get a following, he probably won't ever have my following, but there you go. All right, so then I guess the next one that's probably on the weaker as far as voting abilities this time around, but not on intelligence, I would say is Elizabeth May, the Green Party. I actually think she's a brilliant woman, well spoken. I actually had the pleasure of meeting her once, which if she ever, well, she'll see this tape, but if she did, she may remember me. I doubt she will, though. I happened to be living in Vancouver at the time, and I was going to a chamber meeting, just out of interest to see what was happening in our area, and I had a few little business ideas. I thought I would just maybe ask a couple questions when I was there, or on the side afterwards. Anyways, she was out campaigning. I believe it was her very first campaign too, to get into her position. Anyway, she was outside campaigning, so we chatted for a few minutes. I invited her in. I didn't know she'd come, but sure enough, a few minutes later, she showed up, and she came in and spoke to the group for a bit. So it was kind of cool. First time I've ever come, and I managed to bring in a lady who ended up becoming who she's become. Running the Green Party, and common sense woman. She seems to speak from the heart and intelligence, which is never a bad way to be. All right, so we'll move along, and then we'll go to, I guess, Andrew Scheer. Oh, no, sorry. I'm probably Jagmeet Singh, because, he's at potential to be third. I actually, what I don't have on here is I don't have much to say on the Quebec situation. I don't even know if they're going to be at this one tonight. I doubt they are, but you never know, because it's in English. And that actually bugs me. It bugs me that it doesn't bug me that they had debates in French. That's great. That's wonderful. Absolutely. But it bothers me that Trudeau's making one English one and I think a couple French ones. I think there is a couple French ones and only one English debate with all of them. I don't agree with that. Canada is province-wise, there's only one province that kind of a first language is French. So definitely there should be French, and it's very important. Quebec, lots of votes there. But still, come on, there's a lot of rest of Canada. I'm from BC, British Columbia, and so obviously there should be as many, or maybe even slightly more, by population and by provinces in English than in French. Again, I don't know if the French guy's going to be there. If he is, that's great. I'd like to hear what he's got to say, but it does seem to be always that they're, speaking basically for their province. So it's almost more of a provincial party, and yet they get to do a lot of control of federal because of their voting power and where they're situated. All right, so let's jump over. Jagmeet Singh is, again, if name's incorrect, someone can, well, don't correct me, I'll listen tonight and get it right. I'm impressed with him. I wasn't sure, I was following how he didn't get himself into the, get himself an area. He took Burnaby here, but he didn't go out and get something for a while there, and basically floated around for a year or so. So we didn't hear much from him. So I thought, oh, maybe he's indifferent. He's just sort of putting a half a foot in the water, just testing the water. But it turns out he's actually well spoken and intelligent, and he too seems to speak from the heart. And that always impresses me when I feel it's less political. Not that, these guys are all politicians, so obviously it's all political at the end of the day. But it's nice when they can come across more human, more relatable to the average person, which, by the way, is the people that actually carry the votes is the average Joe. If we can ever get ourselves organized enough to figure stuff out. So, he's pretty strong. It'd be better for, I think, Canada if he was the third party, and there's a chance now, right, that Quebec may get more votes than him, and therefore, or more seats. And if they do, then, they're going to have the sway of power between, what looks like is going to be either Liberals or Conservatives, and then one of them will be one of them will be two. So I think NDP would be a better one. And down the road, it might be the Green Party that hopefully it'll rise really well in this election and start rising. One of my own daughters said that she thinks the young generation's going that way, and she's never really been political, but she actually mentioned to me on the phone the other day that she's probably going to vote, and that's probably who she's going to vote for. So that was pretty cool. And on that, before we move on to the other two parties, on that, I actually think it's really important for Canada and politics that we keep having more than a couple parties. We don't want to be like the States where everything grinds to a halt because it's 50-50. We need to have the variety to say, okay, maybe they're not going to do a great job either, but you guys have done a shitty job, so you're out. You're away from the trough. There's not going to be as many of you. Some of you are going to be unemployed. And those of you that survive, hopefully, if you get back down the road in another election or two, you remember this day and you go, well, we better give them what they want a little more, because that's at the end of the day, you're there to represent us. So, I think by having choices, we can continually rotate when we're not happy with the way things are. And if you're rotating every single election, it tells all the parties out there they better get it more right than they've been getting it, if they want to hold power and have more of their buddies around them and control the government. Okay, let's move on. So, Andrew Scheer. He's been kind of, I was hoping there would be more there. I didn't actually mind Harper, so right by saying that people, I don't want him, no. But, we were financially in a good, stable position, and when the crash happened, we were the best of the G7, and it's kind of nice to know that our financials were in good order, and they held us. I don't care about the high esteem part, although that's kind of cool, but it actually held us together as a nation. We were better off for it than a lot of other countries. It was a nightmare what happened in the States. When the housing market collapsed. It was just so many people just went from having a moderate life to being poor and pretty much on the streets. So I'm glad that we were more stable than that. So I was hoping Andrew Scheer might have some potential. I'm not sure right now, to be honest. He's kind of he seems a little like an asparagus that's been in the sun too long, and he's a little droopy to me. He's not he's not coming across like he even believes in himself. So that's a little bit scary as a leader goes. All right, so then we'll move on to Pierre. And Pierre, it's funny. I said this before on tape months ago, or I think when he first got elected. I wanted to give him his chance because I didn't really wasn't impressed with his father. I was a young kid at the time, and I mentioned that then. And he gave the finger to BC as he left on the train, and it stuck in my mind as a young man. And why wouldn't it? And but his son's a different person. He went to school and or taught school out this way in BC. I just thought give him a chance, and for a while there, he seemed to be doing okay. So it looked like he had the youth invigorated and coming out, and I'm not a pot smoker, but I mean that's been a stupid issue for years, as he kind of got that past the post, which is wonderful because I know a lot of people that were being treated as criminals when people that drink. I drink beer and stuff. We were fine, and apparently these guys weren't, and they were having a joint before a soccer game or something, and they had to sneak off and hide when they did it, kind of thing. So anyways, that said, I'm really disappointed on the policy, and everyone to me still misses the policy of bringing in someone that has the right to say if something goes through the courts, for like that company back east that in Quebec that broke laws, and then tried to get it taken out of court by having someone intercede and say, well, we'll just have them pay a fine instead. And I think we have to have our separation, because everyone likes to use the words rule of law. Well, rule of law is no good if the persons that control whether the rule of law is even used is decided by the party in power, because then it becomes, is that a company that supports us or doesn't support us? So there becomes way too much controversy. Looking for a different word, it might come to me, but it's incorrect. So when the one girl did stand up and everyone says, well, see, it proved itself, it worked. Well, actually, in all honesty, it didn't work. It's ruined the party's image, ruined Trudeau's image, made this girl lose her job, made her get demoted, made her want to leave the party, and now she's off running as an independent. And so all that's a slam. And the problem is that the person that was replaced her obviously is a yes man to the party that put him in power. So now they're just trying to wait this out, and they're still going to try to have this go their way where it doesn't go to court. And there's these 3,500, and that's all been just even by the company themselves says, well, no, I mean, we have other contracts, we weren't going to fold up. And even if they went to fold up, we know that those people that are talented would be able to go work for the companies that would then take those contracts. They would need more people, especially people that are involved in it already. So all that was a load of crock, and I do hope that everyone steps back and says we got to make it like the old rules, where it's separate altogether, the position's separate, and it can't be appointed. It's got to be like a civil service job. It can't be appointed by the ruling party in charge. Otherwise, there's always going to be a conflict of interest in the eyes of people like myself. They're going to say, oh yeah, that's bullshit. Can I say bullshit? Why? That's my take. So I wasn't happy about that one. Obviously, not happy about the brown face, although, on that one, I just say he was a kid, so I'll give him the bit about being a kid, but it is a little strange that he did it a bunch of times. It seemed to be this is my thing. I like to go brown face. So can be, maybe he should have just said, I always loved Michael Jackson. I was hoping to become, I was actually trying to emulate and show my support. Maybe he should have gone that angle. I don't know. But it was a little bit of a surprise and a little bit of an embarrassment for him and for Canada on the whole. Here's our leader, and he's running around doing that. And I don't think he's a prejudiced guy. I think probably he was just bad choice, bad decision, as was the Indian trip, as was the Aker Khan, or however you say his name, the holiday. I mean, he's made some really dumb moves, but I imagine anyone under a microscope probably is always going to end up having something get pointed out. So sorry, just to be fair here, so Sheeran is half American, half Canadian. There shouldn't be a problem there. There really shouldn't be. And yes, if you need to point a finger because Trudeau, I get that. It's kind of dumb that nobody knew that. Like, how did nobody know that? Like, is there no investigative reporting anymore when people do back checks on people? Do they not actually read the back check news? Is this like the Mueller report on Trump? Does nobody read these things? Nobody really actually. Everyone's looking for the Twitter feed. The used to be 120 characters. I don't know what it's up to now. I don't use Twitter, surprisingly. No, I don't use it. maybe I should. I do have an account. I just don't think I have anything on it. All right. So of all the parties, I hope this debate tonight is interesting. I hope we've all learned something. At this point, if I sound undecided, that's what I told you. I am an undecided person. I'm going to wait closer to the day. I think I might be voting for one of the lesser potential winners, just because I think that at this point I'm indifferent to a few of them. I like, probably my strength of personalities I like is Elizabeth, Jagmeet, Andrew, and Pierre, in that order, going backwards, only Max at the bottom. So from the bottom up would be Max, Pierre, Andrew, Jagmeet, Elizabeth, for personalities. But for potential to run the country and going to get the votes, obviously, I guess I'm probably going to have to go with the polls that I'm seeing, and it's going to be between Pierre and Andrew. And at this point, it looks like it might be. I call him Pierre Trudeau, didn't I? Instead of Justin. I actually wrote down Pierre on my little cheat list here. That's how much I knew more of his father than him. Sorry, Justin, that wasn't very nice. It wasn't intended, by the way. So, probably Justin will squeak through with a minority, and maybe minority's good, where we'll have some decisions made by 2 or 3 of the parties, and hopefully, keep Canada doing well and going well. I have other debates and things to do with different provinces. I like to do one on BC and Alberta, because I think Alberta, and I've done something on this a while ago, but nobody never got out there, or it's out there, but nobody really read it or listened to it. I actually think they've been handling their province wrong. And the BC guy telling us that. Well, yeah, actually I am, but I'm telling you with the idea of you succeeding. I have actually a niece over there as well, and I want her and her husband and their lives to go great. I got cousins over there too, and an uncle over there. And my son-in-law used to work over there in the mines, or in the oil fields, crane operator. So I got nothing against Alberta. In fact, I've often thought Saskatchewan, Alberta, and BC have a lot going for themselves in many, many ways. And if the country was to get all stupidly divided up, although I'd like to stay united, we have a lot going for us, and we just don't have the votes to carry some of the decisions that are made back east. And we often suffer, and money going that way and not coming this way, and the policies go from there being imposed here. So in many ways we lose out. But Alberta, you gotta stop hating BC. Well, not hating, but it comes across that way sometimes with some of your politicians disliking us so much. Because a lot of times we're your labor. We send a lot of people over there to work. We're also, like you say, we are your access to the coast. And maybe if you'd only been concentrating on working with us and resolving issues with us, it would already be done. Because if it was a 2-province successful thing, and you guys always talk about that resource being Canadian resource, so we should be able to do all this sort of stuff, but then it's all the profits are yours, or you send them back east to buy the votes of people like Justin and that, or have him, buy your pipeline to help out when the people are bailing on you because you can't get stuff done. Maybe you've been going about this the wrong way, going back east for your OKs, when really the OKing you needed, and the lands you were crossing, and the oceans you were risking, and the reserves that you were affecting, and the locals that you were affecting, and the harbors that you were affecting, were all BC. All BC. So maybe you've been doing a bad business on this, and And you've left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths over it. And you turn around and threaten wine industry and stupid stuff like that. Really dumb. Really, really dumb. People over here are educated too, and we can see when someone's trying to bully us and use the power of back east to bully us. We don't like it, just like you don't like it. So, it's respect going both ways, and profits being more. And we pay the highest gas prices, and it's been proven we've been gouged a little bit. And we know that whispering into someone's ear to maybe jerk us around a little bit can easily be coming from your province, and most likely is. You have the ear of the people setting the pricing. So when we know that we're paying at the pumps and we're paying in the land, and then we don't see any of the benefits to speak of, you buy off a few of the different indigenous groups that are on the route. It's not good, man. Not good at all. All right, this is it for this one, and it's a long one. Cool. Cheers. Bye, Denny Gamble.